Hi John, this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and this is your Singer 301. And this is the final test before we pack her up to ship her out to you. And in this test we're going to go over the various controls, how to set the stitch length and tension and pressure on your sewing foot, how to thread the machine, how to wind the bobbin, just everything you need to know to sew with this machine. This is your electronic foot control. Yeah, anyway. So we'll start by winding a bobbin. And you'll find your bobbin in the bobbin case below the fold-up sewing bed. If you pull out the little latch, you can use that to move the bobbin case around. And as long as you're holding that latch, your bobbin won't drop out when you're moving it around. So there's quite a bit of thread on here, but I'm going to pull that off. And let's see, what color shall we use for your bobbin thread? Oh well, let's use this. So to wind the bobbin, this is your bobbin winder. Put your spool on the spool pin between the discs of the bobbin winder tensioner and up to the bobbin. But before we do that, let's put a few wraps of thread on the bobbin to hold the thread in place while it winds. So pull your bobbin winder all the way out, put your bobbin on, and then push it all the way up until the rubber tire makes contact with the hand wheel. Declutch your machine by turning the chrome knob in the center of the hand wheel towards you a quarter turn or so until you feel it hit its stop. Now the wheel can spin and wind the bobbin without making the rest of the machine cycle. No reason to go fast. Put your bobbin winder all the way down. Reclutch your machine by tightening the chrome knob. And your bobbin goes in the bobbin case with the thread coming off the top of the bobbin in this direction. So drop it in, then guide your thread into this slanted slot on the side and up under the take-up spring, and you'll feel it click into place. You know what? Singers are usually the other direction. I was mistaken. You want your thread to come off the top of the bobbin in this direction. Not all singers are the same, but most of them are, and I think, pretty sure that in this case, you want your thread to come off the top of the bobbin in this direction. So when you pull it, the bobbin should turn in the opposite direction that you're pulling. So that's the right way. Holding the latch again, so you hold your bobbin in place. Slip your bobbin onto the post in the center of the hook fold up bed. To thread the machine, put your spool on the spool pin on top. Go into the thread guide on the back, into the thread guide on the front, and down between the discs of the tension assembly. Go all the way around until you pick up the little thin check spring, and keep on pulling until your thread goes into the notch at the top. Now when you pull on your thread, you'll see the little check spring move up and down. You know you got it right. Go back into this big thread guide. Do the take-up lever from right to left, down to the thread guide on the faceplate, the thread guide at the bottom of the faceplate, the thread guide at the top of the needle clamp, the thread guide at the bottom of the needle clamp. Lots of thread control there. And then through the eye of the needle from the right to the left. This is opposite the way that you thread the needle on most machines. But the 201, the 301, featherweight, they all thread that way. Holding your needle thread loosely, turn the hand wheel towards you one full revolution, and the needle will take the thread down where the hook will pick it up, wrap it around the bobbin, and bring up your lower thread. There's your lower thread. Put your thread between the toes of the presser foot, and we're ready to sew. If only we had some fabric to hand. Here's some fabric. Put your fabric under the presser foot and lower the presser foot using the lever on the back of the machine. This is your stitch length. That determines how long each stitch is. And up here near the center line are really short stitches until you get to the center line where it doesn't move at all. The thread just balls up into the fabric and makes a mess. But going down from that center line, your stitches get longer and longer and longer and longer until your longest stitches are at the very bottom. From the center line going up, your stitches get longer and longer and longer, except in reverse. We're going to set it about 12 stitches per inch. Actually, I'm going to set it a little shorter because we have kind of a short piece of test fabric. I'm going to go 15 stitches per inch. Tension, usually when I restore a machine, I leave it so that the correct tension for regular thread, regular fabric is about 3. Your sewing foot pressure, you want just enough pressure to move your fabric along with authority. Because too much pressure can mar delicate fabrics, but you'll get used to it. You want your fabric to move along, and you want a nice even looking stitch. Sometimes if your foot pressure isn't sufficient, your stitch will be just a little bit wonky, but I don't think that'll be a problem here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to give it a little bit of gas. Oh, that's a really pretty stitch. The 301 and the featherweight both make about as pretty of a stitch as you can find. A longer stitch. Reverse. Forward. Reverse. Forward. And let's see. If you want your stitches to be the same length in reverse that they are in forward, you set your stitch position where you want it. I'm going to set it at 12 stitches per inch. Then you tighten down this knob until it makes contact in the back. Okay, it's going to make contact right here. So now when you go into reverse, your stitches will be the same length in reverse as they are in forward. And wherever you happen to set your, whatever stitch length you happen to be sewing, you can adjust it down to make your forward and reverse threads equal. But I'm just going to leave it wide open so you can sew any stitch length you want. There we go. Your tension, if your thread on the bottom looks loose and loopy, it means you probably want just a little more upper tension. But don't go hog wild. Just turn it up a little increment at a time. If it's bunching up, if it just seems like it's pulling too hard, you may need to let off the tension just a little bit. Sewing foot pressure, that's more of a seamstress thing. I rarely use it except to make sure that I got the right looking stitch. But for heavier or lighter fabric, you may want to adjust the pressure on the sewing foot up or down a little bit. Let's see, is there anything else? You're going to want to oil your machine every 8 hours or so of sewing. And there are oil holes in various places on the machine that you can use to oil. But I'm going to find you a user guide as well. You're going to want to take off the bottom plate and oil some points down there. Basically, anywhere that two parts move against each other or spin, you want to put 1 drop of oil at each of those movement points. This is your serial number down here. If you're looking around for a serial number, you won't find it on top like on most machines. It's stamped into the bottom plate here. All right. As you'll see, when the hook turns, you can see that the inner part of the hook does not turn, but the hook kind of rides on that edge. So you want to put 1 drop of oil on the edge of the disc that has this post in it, and your little finger on top. And your faceplate. You want to open up your faceplate and you want to put a drop of oil on your needle bar, and each of these little pivot points on the linkages here have an oil hole that each get a drop of oil, one down right down there. The presser foot lifter bar will get a drop of oil. That should be everything in there. So that's about it. That's your machine in a nutshell. And we'll get her packed up and ready to go to her new home. And again, John, thank you so much. We appreciate your patronage. I'll make sure you have a couple of spare bobbins. And this one, I forget what this one's called. Anyway, you got it. Got a hammer and I'm not sure, that might be a scissors guide. Maybe it goes on one of the attachments, I don't know. And then in this box is your automatic zigzagger, which looks like this. And it comes with 3 other pattern cams to do some fancy stitches. And the user manual. Thank you, John. Look forward to receiving the balance of your payment online. And then we'll get her packed up and ready to go home.